Hey there. If you like it, say so. Subscribe if you want. I'd appreciate it. Um, there was one the other day I just saw. It was Dr. Rashad Ritchie had this one about this gentleman who was he was arrested because somebody claimed that the truck he was in was theirs. It wasn't. It was his. He had everything. He showed the officers the registration, and it came up that that was it was his truck. It wasn't stolen. Even after that, they kept the handcuffs on him. They held. I don't know how long they held him, but I mean, and of course, it probably had a whole lot to do with the color of his skin. He's a black guy. It's his landscaping company. He has this truck full of his material, his stuff that he uses. And these people, he's sitting parked. I don't know what. Who knows why? Doesn't matter. This couple come up, start touching his truck and looking at all. He asks them what they're doing, and I don't know if they said anything to him about. You know, I don't think they did. No, they stop, they go away, and he's sitting there. And a little while later, two police cars pulled up, and he gets out of his truck with the keys, and he's going to show the cops that it's his, or talk to him, find out what's going on. Up against, hands against the car, put him in handcuffs, the whole thing, and then, I mean, the necessity of having a quote police force. Um, and there are points to having some kind of law enforcement, but there needs to be a whole lot more training. And I don't just mean physical training, how to, you know, I mean, they got to go every once in a while and get recertified at the gun range to show they can still know how to shoot and, get it where it's supposed to go. And for that job, you should also have some physical training. You have to be in shape. You're going to have to chase after some of these people. You might have to fight somebody. Uh-huh. But they need more. They need some mental and psychological background. I think they should have at least maybe a bachelor's, and some psychology, sociology, all that thrown in there so that they're not going out there just being dicks with a gun. There's a lot of power in that. And they're told they have the power, which they have some to a point, but they don't have that whole you know power of life and death over people. They shouldn't have that anyway. I mean, they do in some cases, unfortunately. Excuse me for a second. My battery was getting low. Um, you know, Unfortunately, sometimes it comes down to that. I mean, just thinking about it, that responsibility or capability can do something to a brain, especially if it's not totally, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Okay, uh, I don't know why people become police officers. Uh, there's probably some who say, "Hey, that looks like a good job. Well, it pays good." got good benefits, you know, and a lot of them probably do go into it thinking, I can help, I can do some good for society. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe somewhere along the way, something about this implicit power that you have because you carry a gun and or are given the legal authority to use it. You know, I don't know. That doesn't that could do something to somebody's brain, to their mental faculties, and thinking about how much power they have. Some of them, who weren't too tight in the first place, hey, hey, I've got all this power. I can use it whenever I want. I can do what I want. I can, you know, and and it's interesting that some people putting on that uniform, something, I don't know, switches. What they don't see people the same way anymore. And part of that's, yeah, you got to be able to, look out for shady people. If you're a good police officer, you got to watch and know what's going on. And if you think somebody is going to do something, watch them. Can't do anything before they do something. But if you think they're going to, you can watch them and make sure that when the time comes, they don't get to do what they wanted to do. Yeah, you got to divide people up into categories. But people don't go into those categories because their skin looks one way or another. That shouldn't be what divides people into these groups. I go on YouTube a lot, and I look at and I see a lot of these guys, and I look at these. Excuse me, this is just nervous habit. A lot of these guys who look a lot like me, and they let it be known where they stand, and okay, they stand 180 degrees diametrically opposed to me. They're white supremacists, racists, very conservative, right-wing nut jobs, possibly evangelical Christians. I'm not that. Okay? But I think there's a lot of times where I'm wondering, do those people think I'm one of them? Do people think that? I don't know. And since a lot of people make judgments of others based on how they look, it probably happens. Yeah. I had a woman in the neighborhood that I knew casually. I just, hi, that's it. And I'd see her at the food bank. We'd go to the food bank, and she'd be there. And this one time I was just me, and I met her there. It was just after the election in 2016. And somehow, of course, that was the subject matter of most talks of, and that time was the election. Somehow it came around to, who we voted for. And I told her I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't like him. She did. She, some comment was made about religion, and I told her, I said, "Well, no, I don't believe that." I didn't want to go into a long, involved explanation of my religious or spiritual values, so I basically told her, "I'm an atheist." And what she said in response was just like, "Huh?" She said, "You don't look like an atheist." What does an atheist look like? You know? What and how does what you believe in here present itself out here to everybody else? You know? I don't go around expounding my beliefs to everybody all the time. I don't tell most people anything about my spiritual beliefs. Because it's none of their business. It's my belief, you know? They believe what they want. Just don't bring it to me and try and get me to believe what you believe. Okay? I'm not going to try and sway you, you know? If you want to talk on a courteous level and just talk and not necessarily try and persuade me this way or me persuade you that way, or just, yeah, no. We want to talk, have a discussion. What you believe, what I believe. That's fine. Maybe we can learn something from each other. It's possible, you know? Hey, anything's possible. But it, you know, okay. That, I'm getting kind of off track here. That was, okay, to her, people who looked like this, whatever that was, were okay. But if you believed something different from that, you look like this. But what does that look like? You know? And, okay, a lot of the stuff that we do about race, and I mean, if you go back far enough, there's probably some kind of tribal element to it. He looks different. He's not a member of our tribe. Yeah, okay. But we're not that kind of civilization anymore. We are much more advanced than that. And a tribe, I guess people do that to themselves. They divide themselves up into tribes, you know? I try not to do that. I'm trying to be, yeah, okay, you know. I try to approach other people as other people. They're people. And if we talk and we agree on stuff, okay. If we talk and we don't agree on stuff, that's okay too. You know? I don't, I don't have to have everybody out there agree 100% with my beliefs. I know that's not possible. Because everybody approaches that from a different place. Somebody who is very, very, their family was very much into, there used to be a thing, charismatic Christians, Pentecostals who speak in tongues and whatever they do, you know. There's a guy, what was his name? Schaefer, Frank. I think it was Frank. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, he grew up in a house that was very, very right wing Christian house. But he moved away from that. You know. But I can see somebody brought up in that kind of atmosphere. would have that, you know. I even had fellow students in junior high try to talk me into stepping up for Jesus. I just wasn't. That wasn't something I did. I didn't know. You know. I've never really had that. Never really had the idea in my head that I was born in sin. This. See, that's one thing. This, according to them, was created by God in His image. They put that in there. I don't think they mean physically image, but you know. But any cultivation of this physical, the physical enjoyment that we can get. I mean, you know, a good meal, a good beverage, good sex, you know, whatever. The physical things that we get, according to these people, that is bad. Especially if you're a woman. I just, you know, all this, I remember all of this stuff, you know, all these feelings that teenage boys have. Ooh, you know, teenage girls have them too. You know that, right? It's a human thing. When hormones start to kick in, okay, then you start having these feelings. That's natural. I mean, look at our animals. That's what they do. You know? As soon as they're able, they're looking to make more babies. I think with humans we need to slow down on that a little bit, but you know, we're making too many. But not. The planet is overcrowded. There's a whole heck of a lot of us here. You know, 7 billion plus. I don't know exactly, but you know, that's a lot of people. Do we have the necessary capability and desire to take care of all that many people? We're probably capable. I mean, I'll walk into a grocery store and the shelves are just full of stuff. There's food everywhere. But I also go to the food bank. My wife and I go there weekly. And it helps us because that grocery store with all that food, sometimes the prices are just, they're getting ridiculous. I went, where was it? Yeah, you know, anyway, it's not that we don't have the capability of feeding and housing everybody. We do. For reasons beyond my ken, we don't. Now, I personally don't believe it's because we can't. I believe it's because there's somebody somewhere who says, nah, I'm not going to do that. I won't make any money from doing that. I need to have money coming into me. That's what it boils down to. It's just the money. Bring the money. I want the money. I want that green stuff. Bring it in. Gold, silver, whatever. Bring it in. I want it. I want it. What about people? What about just plain humanity? Where do we get all this nonsense? about each other, about wanting people. There was a gentleman on with Dr. Ritchie earlier. He was a psychologist talking about the mindset of Karens. I'm sorry to anybody out there. I don't like using that word because there are people with that name who aren't like that. But I don't know what else to say. But anyway, he was talking about their mental thing, and they act the way they act out of fear that they're going to lose something. And a lot of that fear is based on the false idea that because they have white skin, they are superior. They have a privilege over everybody else. You know, especially people of color, but also over other white people. You know, there's this whole status thing. You know, I have this much money, so I have this status. You have this much money, so you have this status. So better than you. I'm better than you because I have more power and more money. No, you just have more power and more money. Doesn't make you better than anybody. The better comes in how you treat people. You know, I try to treat people fairly. I do, you know. There are times when I have met people and my initial gut reaction is, I don't have anything to do with this person. Something about them makes me uneasy. And every time I've had that, it has been proven to be true. You know, I'm not claiming to have any special abilities or whatever. It just happens, you know. So I was reinforced on that too, and my dog didn't like that guy either. But yeah, I always trust a dog's impression of a human being. They know, they can tell, and some humans can also tell. It's just, hey, I went, I guess I went off the track there. I don't know where I ended up. Um, be good to yourselves, okay? And be good to others. You don't know what's going on in somebody's head. You don't know what they're going through in their life. Kindness, it's free. And it does pay dividends. Maybe not directly back to you, but you show kindness to somebody, maybe they'll show kindness to somebody. Maybe it'll spread. Okay? Nothing wrong with being kind. Random acts of kindness. That's what you need to do. I'm a firm believer. Very firm. As I said, be good to yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. And be kind to others.